Welcome to the Football Show, sponsored by NDO Communications. We're live here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm delighted that you could join us. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Tam McManus, and our special guest Bobby Petta is here to talk about last night's game between Celtic and Real Madrid, and who better to talk about the Amsterdam Arena. He sampled it, he sampled winning there as well, and Rangers are going to try and attempt to do that this evening. We'll get your thoughts on it. You can give us all the messages and all your opinions on our YouTube feed, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join the ever-growing family that we've got who like a little bit of football, offer their opinion, and of course download the PLZ Soccer app, which, as you know, Ruffy has managed to download the app on his Nokia 3310, which is no mean feat, to be honest with you. Anyway, apart from that, Ruffy, we're going to talk about Ajax against Rangers very shortly, but what a game last night.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't one of the privileged who were inside the stadium. Some of us here tonight were in the stadium sampling the atmosphere, and it is electric. You know, it's just, as soon as the lights go and as soon as the music starts, and everybody just buys right into it. And I have to say, I thought the first 45 minutes they were as good as I've seen for a long, long time. Obviously, second 45, we'll probably talk about that later on, but no, I thought it was a great night and a great reception for the Celtic fans at the end.
Yeah, I mean, there are many special nights that Celtic fans have sampled in the European stage, and you were part of that team that delivered more than a few, Bobby. It just seems to, now there seems to be an aura about it. You know, when it kicks off, when the theme kicks in, the place just goes crazy.
Yeah, the place goes crazy. I mean, they want to be on this stage for a long time. So as soon as, they walk on, and then you hear the anthem, the crowd went crazy, and that's special. I never heard a roar like that for a long time, and that gave me goosebumps. Yeah. So watch the music sampling, the noise, yeah, that's spectacular. And you wish you want to be there, but just there, support the team, and you know, what's a good game of football. Did you get the sense of that when you were a player, or are you just in the zone, you're focused? Yeah, you're focused, but you know it's there, but you have to focus with the job on hand. And I spoke to you before, it's not until after, and you see these moments on tape, or now yesterday, there in the stadium, you go, it just means a lot more, and appreciate what the fans are giving the team. Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I'll tell you how incredible it was, Tam. At the end of the Champions League theme, the Real Madrid players applauded the Celtic fans. That's how crazy it was. You actually couldn't hear the theme. I watched it on the TV, and you couldn't hear the theme because the Celtic fans were cheering and roaring. It must have been, you know, the goosebumps. Even Real Madrid, and there's been Barcelona players in the past, you know, Iniesta and Xavi and all that. They all rave about the atmosphere at Celtic in a Champions League night. I don't think there's a better atmosphere in Europe when Celtic are at home in the Champions League night against a big team. So, unfortunately, Celtic couldn't get the result, but I think the performance, particularly in the first half, would give them a lot of confidence when they come up against other three teams. Yeah, listen, everybody was trying to get a ticket for it, Ruffy. I'm going to say a big hello to young Aidan, who was a little boy who got the call, I think, an hour before the game kicked off, to say that there was a ticket for him, his dad and his granddad, and that's what you call lucky, Ruffy. How somebody can get the call and say, I can make it, get in the house and get going. That's what we spoke about yesterday, and it's all about being there. It's all about, at the end of the day, when they talk about Celtic versus Real Madrid and years later on, that wee boy can say, I was at that game. Yeah. You know, Bobby can say, I played one of the games, you know, and that's what these big games mean to everybody. You know, they're just a lingering tradition at the club. Yeah, absolutely. Here's how the result fitted into all the results from last night in the Champions League. Quite a few of them posed a few shocks. One of them cost a manager his job, and that was Dynamo Zagreb 1, Chelsea 0. Thomas Tuchel sacked by the Chelsea board. Dortmund 3, Copenhagen 0, Benfica 2, Maccabi Haifa 0, Seville 0, Man City 4, Salzburg drew 1-1 with AC Milan. Of course, the aforementioned Celtic result against Real Madrid. Leipzig 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 4, didn't see that coming, and PSG 2, Juventus 1, with an absolute raker of a goal for PSG from Mbappe. A lot of people are giving Celtic plaudits for the way they went about their business in the first 45 minutes, but Ange Postecoglou at the end of it, you know, nice getting the plaudits for the way they played, but the Celtic manager's having none of it. He wasn't happy that they lost the game and were unable to convert those defining moments in the game when they had chances to score.
I feel determined, not optimistic. Like I said, that's my. I feel that responsibility. I want us to be a Champions League football club, and for that to happen, we've got to come out next week. And again, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be fine margins, but we've got to learn from that and try and be more clinical in those kind of areas. So, it's not about being optimistic or pessimistic about it. It's about being determined to bridge that gap.
Bobby, here is a manager who is disappointed at the way the game turned out. I know a lot of people, as you mentioned, fans are delighted that they're back on that stage, but this is a manager who wants Celtic to play at a certain level, and he's not happy.
Well, I can see why he's not happy, because there's some few chances they had, and I think on this level you don't get many chances, but you need to be clinical, and that's the difference. Because look, Maeda comes in and gets that chance. You only had to hit it properly. You have to strike it. Just connect to it. Maybe just he's full of adrenaline. I mean, I call him kamikaze. He just keeps going, going, but put a stop on it. Just compose yourself. It's there. You're in the right place. Just knock it in there, and it would have been a goal. Yeah. Just wee moments like that. I think Giacomakis, a handful. I think it was the start of the game. They had he
had a header. Yeah.
And I think those, because he didn't give that many chances. Well, obviously, the second half was a different story, but in the first half there was not. There was Hazard. That was the only thing. We're glad that he was there and not Benzema, because he would have knocked it in. But you see that it's all about moments at the end of the day, and hindsight is a wonderful thing. But I think at that level you don't get that many opportunities, and you need to take them. But apart from that, I do get where it's coming from, because I think they weren't outplayed in the first half, got a chance in the second half, and then later on, the last half an hour, they took control, heavy legs, and that's when the gap started. But they play Modric, and it just see when you have the ball, and everything's fast counter-attack. But see there, they keep composure. You can't win the ball back and go and give it away again, and then try to get the ball, because they're good at it. I think they need to be, maybe something like criticism, but it's new for them. Just find the moments to right now. We keep the ball. We're gonna play, because they want to play too.
Yeah.
Right. But any opportunity they get to go in there and try to, like a world class, isn't on. Just keep the good ball, keep playing, because I do give you that space in a way to play around.
Yeah, and that's the point, Tam. I think for the third goal, it was something like 33 passes for Real Madrid. They just kept their composure, waited, as Bobby was saying, going around, and then, okay, here's our moment, there's the ball in, Carvajal lays it back, Eden Hazard scores. But over and above that, I mentioned to a few people in the press box who were getting excited by what they were watching with Celtic in that first half. Real Madrid have been in this movie before. They did the same to Liverpool in the final. They knocked out Man City, Chelsea. They defeated PSG, all with that same tactic. We can take what you're throwing at us, then we'll wait for the moment.
Yeah, I think they were surprised a little bit by Celtic in the first half. I think that Celtic, obviously, we knew they were going to come out fast. They do that every home game. And I think Real Madrid got in at half time, and I think they got together and said, this is a decent team we're playing here, we need to up the levels, and they've done that in the second half. I feel as if Celtic got the first goal, it could have been a different game, because it gives you energy. The supporters feed off of that. You run a little bit harder when you're 1-0 up, and 0-0, Bobby will tell you that as well. So when you've got a wee lead and the fans are behind you, then I think Celtic would have had a chance. But second half, Real Madrid showed their quality. They beat everyone last year, the best team in Europe, they beat the best. And you're right, look at Modric, I think he's 37 today. I mean, what a player. I mean, you couldn't get near him. You think you go and press him, it seems as if he's got eyes in the back of his head. He knows where the whole picture is in the pitch. And when you go and press him, he just skips by you. And when Benzema went off, I thought Celtic got a wee chance here. He's a top man. But the guys are bringing on Eden Hazard and guys like that, they're different level.
Hazard, come on, he's only 103 million. But
good sub.
He's not a bad sub. Of course, the other thing is, as I mentioned to you, Real Madrid have been in this movie before, and I'm sure lots of you are going to read out quite a lot of your comments on the game last night. But Carlo Ancelotti, at the end of the match, said, we knew what was going to come at Celtic Park. We just had to handle that, then wait for our moment.
Celtic is a good team. We were worried about the game because we knew what they did against the Rangers, and we suffered the first half. But it was absolutely normal to suffer here. The atmosphere at the stadium is fantastic, and we are happy to show to the supporter good football.
Yeah, I think Carlo Ancelotti almost certainly showed us what good football was all about. Some of the first touch, the interplay was a joy. Reading all the papers this morning, Bobby, I got a couple of quotes from Jonathan Liu, who's a journalist for The Guardian. I thought he summed it up perfectly. He says, it doesn't matter to Real Madrid who's on top, who deserves to get something. They do what they do. They enter your house, sniff the air, and then they take what they came for. And his final part on it, and I thought it summed it up perfectly, Celtic knew how to start, Madrid knew how to finish.
Yeah, that's basically it. They knew they got so much experience. They know they're up there for a fight. They know what Celtic done against Rangers, so they know it's going to be high level, energetic. Great occasion again. You got to weather the storm. Yeah. 45-minute burn, and then 15 minutes, and that's when you gradually start to creep in. Now it's kind of like okay, we deal with that. We up at the notch, right? And then see when they play out from the back, and until they put pressure, and I go, oh god. It just one touch, two shots, back up to that. Everything was on the right, and then they switched it to the left.
Yeah.
Now the goal, the third one. How many passes did you say?
20 but 33.
30 passes. But there was no pressure. But I can see him waiting. I can see Barcelona all the time as well. Wait as fullback, wait right on that shoulder. And then as the ball comes out, you're running. Yeah, the left back can do nothing because you're already moving and the ball gets played in perfection. And it's just it's a layoff and it's in.
It was similar to Barcelona, wasn't it, Ruffy? Because remember we were talking about it the other day. I remember Kieran Tierney looking at, and the guy who was overlapping him was Barcelona's left back, Eric Abidal. This was the same thing because Carvajal just goes in behind and then he lays it back for Hazard, and it's a joy to watch.
It's fantastic, and then in that Barcelona game, we look at the stats after the game, and the players who did the most passing in the Barcelona team were the two centre halves. They were the ones that were on the ball all the time. They were the ones that were pulling the string and pressing up. But in looking at that game last night, Real Madrid did to Celtic what Celtic have been doing to everybody else. It was just a reverse role, the way they were playing. And Celtic were now confronted by wingers attacking their fullbacks. And that doesn't happen here. The Celtic fullbacks don't get threatened in any of our games here. They're always going that way.
Yeah.
So it was a wee eye-opener for them as well. But I just thought it was a thoroughly... And I don't think there was 3 goals in it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So after the game to go, well... how did it happen, But that one goal, Maeda's chance, and in 45 minutes they've got to score 2 goals.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they wouldn't have scored 2 goals.
I think they would have, Ruffy.
Yeah, but you never know these things. You never, because as the guys were saying, the adrenaline's up. I thought Celtic were beginning to look tired. 15 minutes into the second half, they couldn't keep a hold of the ball.
But the other thing about it,
possession. They kept losing possession, which meant when Celtic play against anybody else, they've got 70% possession.
Yeah.
Real Madrid had 70%, so if you've not got the ball, you're running a bit more than anybody else.
Well, just on that point, and obviously, Tam, you'll know about it better than anyone, and Bobby especially. Celtic 35% possessions, Real Madrid 65%. Celtic had 10 shots, 4 on target. Real Madrid had 6 shots, 6 on target. Corners 5 for Celtic. Real had 3. Celtic had 9 fouls. Real had 4. Bobby, you know better than anyone. If you are playing against top drawer players, there is a moment when they don't let you lift your head. They pressure you at the right moments, and suddenly, as you say, if you haven't got that good touch, if you can't keep your composure and keep the ball, suddenly it gets mightily difficult to get the ball off them. And I just thought, as Tam said, they went up that level.
Yeah, but that's the thing with different levels, because they play in a league, and in the Champions League, at a certain level, competitions there week in, week out. So they prepared for that kind of opposition. Celtic, unfortunately, don't have it, and that's to do with the league, right? That's it. You don't get tested like this all the time. So when you do get on the final stage, it's like a final, so to speak. This is where you want to be, and you run your socks off. You do whatever it's a great time to be there. But it's the nerves, it's the excitement and stuff like that. But you realize that those types of clubs, teams with that much experience and class, they know when to kind of keep it close. And Valverde, and Modric, man, was struggling, give it back, and then all of a sudden, bang, then go. It was it's finding the right moments to go and not go, but they have so much more experience, and you can't take nothing away from Celtic because they don't have that experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you want to get there, so it was a good learning experience for the young team. I just thought, you know, I mean, yeah, you lost 3-0, but you know what, you know, you can keep your head up high.
Yeah.
Because
who impressed you in the Celtic side?
Well, Callum was running. He was working extremely
Excellent.
well. I mean, he was, you know, he did what he had to do. You know what I mean? He's a leader, he's the captain, and he was in the first. I was everywhere, and it's trying to kind of keep everybody organised. But then there's tired legs, Riley and Hattati, and there's a few, you know, silly mistakes. But you maybe should have relaxed, turn other way. It's that composure which they have, and I mean, Giacomakis was a handful.
Yeah.
But I know there was a certain instance in the first. I'm not too sure about penalty or not. I mean, we went across the box. It was a free kick, but he was trouble for it. The defender didn't know what he needed to do.
I think he had a good night's sleep last night, Giacomakis, because he ran himself into the ground. I mean, it was incredible the shift that everybody put in. But you know, 60 minutes is one thing, but you need to do it elsewhere now in the group, because as you said, Tam, as you look at the group table, everybody knows that Real Madrid, you know, could have as near to maximum points. I mean, they're more than capable of beating everybody there. The one little shock was possibly Shakhtar Donetsk, maybe because of the circumstances in the Ukraine. People thought they might be, you know, under a little bit of pressure, but they've certainly responded with their manager. A 4-1 win away against Leipzig.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's seen that coming. I think Leipzig were heavy favourites for that game. I see they've sacked their manager this morning as well, so that's a bonus, I think, for Celtic. And listen, it's going to come down to those games. I don't fancy Celtic to get in the Bernabeu, to be honest. So you've got to try and beat both of those clubs at home. If you can beat them at home and maybe get a result away from home, then you've got a chance. But Celtic, you cannot play that way for 90 minutes. You know, you've got to take your rest. And Bobby was touching on it there. Modric and Kroos, they take their rest when they're on the ball. You know, they take their rest. They'll get the ball, they pass it, they get a wee breather, and then they go and pick teams off. Celtic need to learn to do that. Celtic, you can't go 90 minutes winning the ball, going attacking, losing it, going that way, because like last night, 60, 70 minutes against quality opposition, you'll be tired and they'll pick you off in the last half an hour.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul Beattie says, at the end of the day, barring the result, you have to enjoy these European nights. You're up against the best club team in the world and held your own for how many minutes it was. So well done to Celtic. I think Paul's view on it is shared by so many people. So a lot of Celtic fans, you know, complimentary to what Ange Postecoglou is trying to do, Ruffy, but obviously aware of the fact that the quality of opposition was there. I think a lot of Celtic fans, not only on this feed here, talking about the performance, but the Celtic fans last night were cheering. I mean, they applauded Modric going off the park, which I thought was absolutely top drawer, because he's top drawer. And of course, I think they looked at Ange Postecoglou, what he's trying to do, and thought, okay, it's a sore one to take, but they were singing their names at the end of it and giving them a standing ovation.
Yeah, it's a gala night. It's a night, you know, that everybody loves when the disco lights come on and all everything's flashing. And I keep relating back to you going to see Billy Joel. You know, once you've finished seeing Billy Joel, after it you're applauding him because he's entertained you. You know, he's given you what you paid for. And I think that's what the supporters got last night. They got what they wanted to see. They saw a fantastic Real Madrid side, they saw fantastic players, and they saw their team putting in a shift that obviously wasn't good enough, but in their eyes, you know, they did what Celtic want to do, is go and attack and try and win games.
Yeah, some people suggesting if they do try that same plan, and you know, they might come a cropper in the other matches.
I don't think Celtic will change, but that's the way they play. That's why Ange Postecoglou wants to play. He just needs strength and depth, you know. And unfortunately, Kyogo injured, Starfelt injured last night, and usually he brings him on after 60 minutes. You know, 60 minutes he makes a triple change. He brings fresh legs on. He's got substitutes are going to be crucial in the Champions League. You know, when you bring fresh legs on, because you're right, you can't do it for 90 minutes. There's got to be times when you just settle down, you put a few passes together, try and get a rest.
I think that's very important. It's very important. You can do that in domestically, but there you can't. You need to find out where your moments are. I think, I'm talking my time, we changed our system, right? We play 3-5-2, obviously at home, but away from home, Europe, we play 4-4-2. We never train on shape, never set piece, nothing. We get a team sheet, we get the names of who's going to play, this is the formation, set pieces on the board, that's it. We don't practice on it, we just do it.
Yeah.
We need a solid base, but there's experience in it. We have to play. It doesn't have to be pretty, but we have to play. We can't keep going forward all the time. Can't go forward all the time. It's just finding that balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we go, we're going to go to our reporter, Kerry Pollock, who's out there in Amsterdam ahead of Ajax against Rangers. We'll switch our attention to that. You mentioned there that you played a 4-4-2 away, and obviously you would have played that in the Amsterdam arena, and there was, they're not too much into flooding the players' heads with tactics. Did Martin just basically say to you then, okay, when you run out onto the field, play the ball up to Sutton, he'll win a free kick 25 yards out, then eventually play it to Larson and yourself, and you'll defeat Ajax? I just want to know what the game plan was.
See the game plan. I'm no joke. Whatever team is out, we have a team meeting, but he doesn't speak for half an hour. It's 5 minutes. We do not practice on shape. That's everyday session, 75 minutes, right? 75 minutes of training, even pre-season, 75 minutes, but it's solid.
Yeah.
And we were fit, but we didn't practice 3-5-2. We play 4-4-2. Okay, by the way, we just knew how to play it.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of respect for each other.
So it was practicing the system, and then he would just give you that 5 minutes of focus.
No, we didn't. Well, we didn't practice it on the training pitch. We never practiced that.
Yeah.
We didn't practice on anything like that. We don't do the shape like you see now. Oh, stop, right? You move here, ball goes here. You might never.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people need to know. Never. We had a solid group of players, a lot of leaders. We knew football. We respect one another. Media on left and right. Keep it wide. Keep space for the strikers, for the midfield players. We could play through the middle. We could play over the wings. We can go the long ball, and we can make a scrappy if we wanted to.
Yes.
The manager knew what we had and didn't need to say anything else. Less is more.
There you are. There's a wee insight into it.
I've played under managers who would, and it's nothing worse for players when you're just going through shape for half an hour and it's boring. You're sitting, you're standing. You're right. It's boring. You've got when a ball goes there, you go in there, and a lot of these modern managers do that now. But I played under Alex McLeish at Hibs, and Alex was pretty similar. We'd set pieces up on the board. Maybe done 5 minutes on a Friday before a game, and that was it. He didn't walk you by the hand and tell you where you should be with the ball was. You should know.
It's common sense.
Absolutely.
It's a bit of common sense there.
And over and above that, I think I'm not going to ask Ruffy because obviously ahead of one of the greatest tacticians ever for Scotland, and he just said, Jock Stein said to them, look, whatever you do, don't score against the Brazilians early, you'll get them angry.
We bet he could beat that.
Yeah.
We were playing Rangers, and he says, right, we're coming in at 11 in the morning, we're going to go through the formation and everything. So we're on the part, and he goes, right, Ruffy, you're there, and Hansen's there, Forsyth's there, and everybody midfield, Ronnie Glavin up front. And he said, right, let's go. And we were like, where's the ball? No, ball, but we're using an imaginary ball. You're going to throw the ball to John Hansen. He's going to put the imaginary ball into Ronnie Glavin. Ronnie Glavin's going to put it wide. He's going to get to Bobby House, and Bobby's going to fire it out. Diggy Sumner's going to come in.
Yeah.
We're all looking at each other going, this can't be right. So I throw the imaginary ball at John Hansen, puts the imaginary ball into Ronnie Glavin. He gives it to Bobby House, and Bobby House goes to the line. And Bertie goes, you put that out of the park.
Just to do his conference, and listen, I can see the picture of Kerry inside the Amsterdam arena, which is great news. What a palaver that was. Anyway, Kerry, I'm absolutely delighted to see you in there. I'm looking forward to Ajax against Rangers, and of course, Rangers fans will be hoping it's a special night in the Johan Cruyff Arena.
Yep, that's right, Peter. Got here eventually, but nonetheless, over 2,500 Rangers fans have made the journey over to Amsterdam, not all with tickets, I might add. I spoke to a few of them today. Overall, the mood was very positive. Some of them predicted 1-1 draws, 2-2 draws, hoping to get a point out of the game here today. And one even said they're hoping, and their hope that is that Rangers can hit in a 2-1 win. But the overall mood within the Rangers fans is the performance needs to be better than the weekend. They need to put that performance behind them and take their chances when they arise. No dilly-dallying, no hesitation in front of goal. When the ball arrives at their feet, one of them says they have to take the chances.
Very good point, and something that Bobby and Tam and Ruffy have mentioned with regards to last night with Celtic against Real Madrid, those defining moments when they come. What was the mood like in that Rangers camp? Because Giovanni van Bronckhorst obviously has to try and lift those players, Kerry, for this crucial match day one.
Well, that's exactly it, Peter. The performance has to be put behind them ahead of this big game tonight. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said it's a time for Rangers to showcase their talents against a very successful, very talented but very dangerous Ajax side, and it's a great opportunity for them to showcase what they have in European football. Ajax have a lot of experience in Champions League, so it's going to be an exciting one tonight, but again, the manager says they have to put the performance behind them and learn, grow and develop from their performance at the weekend.
Yeah, and the last point I've obviously got to ask you about Ajax, Kerry, because, you know, apart from losing the Dutch Super Cup, they've had a really good start to the season. They've brought new players in. They've obviously lost some key players in Anthony and Lisandro Martinez to Manchester United. But they've got good players in there that, you know, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will have warned his players about what they can achieve. Ajax are a formidable opposition.
Yep, he said it in his press conference yesterday. They are a dangerous team. They're very attacking, so it won't be surprising if we see Rangers play a more defensive game tonight. But just looking at the odds on the game tonight, Ajax to win the game, they are 4-9 and Rangers are 6-1. So very even odds just there. And goal scorers, I like to add them in as well, Peter. Brian Brobby from Ajax to score any time in the game tonight. He's even money, and for Rangers to get a goal from Antonio Colak. He's been scoring goals for fun. 8 goals this season. To get his 9th, he is 10-3. But the Rangers fan says today, it's European football, so the expectations from the fans are very, very high going into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think great point from Kerry. You know, domestically, it's been a nightmare, Ruffy, at the weekend. Rangers fans have been really, really angry at the way the team played. But as Kerry pointed out there, suddenly European football, you know what they've achieved last season in the Europa League. This season, to qualify for the group stage is no mean feat. And they were looking to the likes of Colak there. You know, maybe a wee tenner for a goal in the arena. Obviously, we'll get Bobby's thoughts on what it's like to score a goal in that arena.
Yeah, well, as a player, you already come off with a really, really bad result. You know, at least you're getting a chance to redeem yourself. You're getting a chance very quickly. You're not waiting a week or two to sort of get it out of your system. You're getting it up in front, you know, and the players will be in that dressing room saying to each other, okay, everybody's had a go at us, everybody's had a fair share. As good teams do, they get together and they fight for each other, and I think you'll see that tonight. I think you'll see that they'll be up for it a lot more than what they were at Celtic. They'll be biting in, they'll be shutting people down, they'll be throwing their bodies on the line, you know, and they've done it in Europe, you know, so I said yesterday 1 each. I thought, I don't know a lot about the opposition, but Rangers have been there and they've been away from home and they've set their stall out accordingly. They've had wee breaks here and there, penalties or own goals or somebody getting sent off, but you take that in any game. So I think it's a big night for them. It's a big night. You've got to silence everything that's went on since Saturday.
Yeah, what was it like? It's one of my favourite stadiums across Europe, the Johan Cruyff Arena. It's just fantastic.
Are you serious?
I loved it.
Feyenoord Stadium is beautiful.
Yeah, I know that. I know, but it is a fantastic stadium.
Yeah, it's even better when you score against them.
Yeah, what was that feeling like? Because there was a wee bit of needle there, wasn't there? Or was there?
Well, yeah, listen, don't have much time here, but it's a long story. Because I'm away from Holland and I was written off. I made detour, came back to big club Celtic. First year bad, but then I got the opportunity with Martin and Neil back in Limelight, and then you go there. Lady Bayonaka was technical director. He wanted me at Ajax at the time. So that's a bit of history there. I haven't spoken to him since I was 15, 16. So he sees me there. And then obviously 7 minutes I score. I mean, the goal itself, I just anticipated, and I look back at it, was my first touch that set everything up, to be honest. And I don't even think, and it's new. I've seen the spot high because I know everybody comes in low, and I watched it again in repeat, and I've seen Chris Sutton with his hands up before I hit the ball. I'm like, okay, give me some credit here. I was brilliant, and I didn't think that from Chris, but I'm like, he's putting his hands up. I haven't even touched the ball. It's phenomenal, and it's arch rivals, come from Feyenoord, of course, and then after I got called up for the Dutch national team, but that's a different story. But it's fantastic atmosphere, and European nights are special, but it's big names.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Ajax is a big name. You know what I mean? We are a big name, so at the time was good to kind of play the way we did and got the result, and that was a start for the Champions League.
Well, Hugh McDonald, who's on this show on a regular basis, has given me Johan Cruyff's book, which I'm reading at the moment. The whole Ajax ethos is incredible, and the way they want to continue to play football and develop young talent and sell it on. They realise they're a selling club. But Tam, I'm looking, we were all discussing it, we were all wondering, what's Giovanni Van Bronckhorst going to do? Will he shatter the confidence of John McLaughlin? He's in. McLaughlin, Tavernier, Golson, Sands, Barisic, Lundstrom, Kamara, Wright, Tillman, Kent and Cholak.
Well, I think that was the biggest call we were speaking about Monday. Would he stick with the goalkeeper? And he has. We'll find out if it's the right decision. He might go and have a stormer tonight and keep a clean sheet, or he might make a blunder that maybe cost Rangers a point or three. So we have to wait and see. I think he's kept, obviously Scott Wright comes in, which is a big one for him. I think his pace on the counter-attack could be vital. But Rangers have got to play a lot better. They've got to go and attack more than they've done against Celtic as well. But they've been excellent in Europe. You know, they've got a great record in Europe. They went to PSV and won. You know, that's got to give them confidence to go to Ajax and get a result. But I think Rangers need to get the first goal to get something out of the game. Yeah,
were you surprised, Bobby, that they didn't actually sign more players than they have done? Because that was maybe a bit of criticism that was coming through from a lot of people who watch the programme on a regular basis. They thought Rangers, knowing they've got 40 million coming in, might have just pushed the board out for a little bit more to strengthen Gio's squad.
Yeah, that's up for the board to decide. We, as fans and as you look at what's happening, because obviously Rangers must see where they would like to have more improvement or strengthen the team, and when it doesn't happen, it's like, why is that? That's the big question. But it doesn't take anything away from the fact that they have to play obviously better than they did before, but they've got the experience, in Europe to go through it. PSV. Do you know what I mean? And I play against Ajax, different coach, Alfred Schreuder, my teammate, Giovanni and myself, teammate. Even at RKC, Ten Hag, my old teammate too, we all work together. So they have a philosophy, it's very much the same. It's not easy for Alfred either, because he's a final man, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
But it's different. But the philosophy in Holland still remains the same. He knows how Ajax plays. There's a few new players in, obviously. Anthony's gone.
Yep.
There's a few changes here and then, but it's nothing better. They're having a big game ahead of you again after what happened last, to go out there and kind of get it off your. Get away from it. I think that's you got to focus. You got to focus. Forget about that. It's not good. Bigger opportunity on the big stage. Let's put a performance in there.
Yeah, that's what Rangers managed to do last season, Ruffy. They would put the defeat that they suffered against Celtic to the back of their mind, and then suddenly just focus on the European style, and that took them all the way to the final against Eintracht Frankfurt. So, match day one, it's always an incentive to try and get some points on the board. So, do you feel confident?
I don't feel overconfident they're going to go there and win. I think the best they could get would be a draw. That after the weekend's poor performance. So I'm going to stick my neck out and go for a one each. Only because they've been away in Europe, they're frustrated teams in Europe, and the quality is obviously different. And it is a Champions League night. So. I think the best we could get would be one each.
Yeah, interestingly enough, a number of people were asking Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, when you look at the team, whether he was looking to try and strengthen it even more with even more new faces. But I think he quickly put the lid on anybody's expectation that Rangers are absolutely, just swimming in, multitudes of cash.
We had a lot of players going out. We had a lot of players going in. And I believe in this squad, and we keep going. And of course, there is talk about new players in and out. Seems like we have loads of money already now in the bank, which is not the case. So, we have to keep going, and we have to make sure we make the squad we have now, we make them stronger.
Well, there's a point, Tam. When the Rangers manager said, maybe the perception is that we've got loads of money in the bank, that is not the case. You have to take him at face value. This is not someone making it up in the mainstream media.
Yeah, listen, Rangers have been in the doldrums for a long time. And we spoke about on the show on Monday. There's a lot of people putting money into the club. In the last 10 years, it's just been loss after loss after loss. It's only the last couple of years that Rangers have started to get money and started to sell players. Obviously, sold two big players in the summer there. So I think that you've got to realise that some of these guys are going to want their money back, and the wage bill I think at Rangers will be big. I think in terms of wages, they're signing players on free transfers. You know, and Rangers fans will point to, well, they're not paying a fee, but they're going to be paying them 20, 30 grand a week. So that wage bill is going to be huge, and they've got to control that as well. So I think Rangers now have just got to try and get on an even keel. They've now got that money. They've now got to start paying some of the guys back that put the money in, and try and get a little bit of, you know, temper the kind of money and the spending a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, Bobby, give us a prediction.
I'm with him.
Yeah.
I think they. Well, winning would be amazing. Even against Borussia Dortmund last season, I didn't expect it. So you never know. It's football, of course. But just looking at both teams there, they've got some speed and they will come. So yeah, but they have a weekend. I think it will.
Yeah, I love it. You know why I love having Bobby on the show? Because when you're I've never met an introverted Dutchman in my life. I've never met a shy Dutchman. Right, that's the first thing when I first encountered them.
I was very shy when I see you, mate.
Yeah, I saw you were. Yeah, you were at the back of the hall hiding. But the great thing about it is 18 years in Scotland, and there's just that lovely mix of, you know, the Dutch accent and then the Scottish words.
Yeah, the Scottish words are good, aren't they? He's got that Glaswegian accent.
He's copying. Yeah, he was long before Jota. Yep. with that Scottish accent just sneaking in there. Although, Tam, you know, both guys are mentioning that it would be great to get a point for Rangers tonight. I don't share that view on the basis that I think, you know, I'm looking at the experience of Ajax, Daley Blind, we all know his experience. Dusan Tadic has had Champions League experience. Steven Bergwijn came from Tottenham Hotspur in the summer. He scored 6 goals in 5 games. I just think, you know, the way they've started their season as well in the Amsterdam, in what do you call it, Johan Cruyff Arena, I think they'll win 2-1.
Yeah, I fancy Ajax as well, just to nick it. I think they've got a little bit more quality in the forward areas, and Rangers are still heavily reliant on Čolak to get goals, and Kent. And Kent's not done it. You know, he's a talented player, but he's assisting his goals. You know, he's not doing the business, and I think Ajax will look at it and think, can we keep Kent quiet, you know, and keep a control on Čolak? And I don't think Rangers will get many more goals in them from anyone else in the team. So I think that Ajax will win.
The last time they met, Ruffy, 1996. I wonder what you were doing then. I can remember actually. I think I just started maybe my first time around at Scottish television, and Rangers were looking to build a side that could actually, you know, do something in European football. Paul Gascoigne was playing for them. Ian Durrant and Ali McCoist were still featuring in the side, but they lost 1-0 at Ibrox and lost heavily, you know, in Amsterdam 4-1. Ian Durrant got the solitary goal, but when you looked at the team, I had a look at the team that Ajax had out that night. The De Boer brothers, Patrick Kluivert, Mark Overmars, Van der Sar in goal. I mean, these were special players.
How did they go on that year? Do you remember in the final?
Well, it was a year. The year before they had won the Champions League. They defeated AC Milan by a goal to 0. Bobby.
It's Juventus that lost it then. I think
that year, no. After they played Rangers, did they go on?
No, they didn't win it. No, but it was still. They still had a really good team. I mean, Kluivert was 19 when he scored the winner, Bobby.
Yeah, I know. I think it was in Vienna. Or was it? No, that was not someone else. I'm thinking, but he came on.
Yeah,
to be Topo.
Exactly.
This long thing, Langley Links, whatever you want to call him. I know Patrick from when he was at Ajax, from 14, 15 years old. Played against each other, played with the other Dutch national teams, and you see him scoring that goal, and it's just only at Ajax.
Yes.
And is that possible? It's just the way they've done it, and the talent that come through, and that's a remarkable moment for him that you obviously never forget as a young kid come there and then.
Did you have the same? You obviously played at Feyenoord. Did you have the same type of blueprint that Ajax adopted, obviously with Johan Cruyff and that sense of Rinus Michels' ethos, which was basically you must develop the players, but develop them in a specific way to play football, to be technical, to enjoy their football, and to. You know, is that something that's the DNA of every Dutch player, never mind Ajax?
Well, we have, there's a lot of discussion programs in Holland. We discuss things, but there's a reason why, right? It's about being functional and productive. Because here, go there, go here. We're finding ways. Sometimes, but there has to be a solid base. Fundamentally, you got to have the skills. Then you got the vision. You got to have the IQ. There's different, roads that lead to Rome. There's different ways to go there. You don't want to go straight route. Different ways to build up. That's hence why they're also good architects, by the way. But it's the way of thinking, right? So it's all instilled in like solid philosophy. This is how we want to play football. This is how we like to play it, and it starts from grassroots. Now the difference is, for example, compared with Ajax and Feyenoord, Ajax youth system is 4-3-3 all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Feyenoord 4-3-3 until you go to the reserve team or the second team, and then they play 4-4-2. Now you tell me why it's more difficult for a player to go and go through Feyenoord at the time when I was there.
Yeah.
You had some great young players put out of position. Good player, but it's a different system he played at first team. I'm like, well, it's not picking rocket science to understand and why a 16-year-old kid can go through to the first team, right, and play in that position. Because nothing changes. Only one thing changes. He plays with better players.
Yeah.
And nothing changes. So it's easy. And they play 1, 2, 3 positions. It's easy. They know the roles. So you can't put a young player in there from Feyenoord, goes in there, and all of a sudden, oh, well, you're left winger. Well, put your left midfield this time. Before 4-4-2, left. Like, okay, here.
So that was the fundamental difference, and it's interesting you saying that, because obviously in the book, just listening to some of the comments and the ethos of Ajax and the way they play, of course, Johan Cruyff, Ruffy, Pep Guardiola suddenly working under him realised how special he was. Cruyff had built that same ethos at Barcelona, and La Masia was developed on that sole structure again of you're going to play the same way you play at youth level all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, all countries have done that, and I can't remember what year it was, but there was a year when Holland were doing nothing. There was a year when they weren't getting into World Cup finals, and so they ripped it up. And somebody, I don't know who it was, said, right, this is where we're going now, and this is the way we're going to take the game forward. And Germany did it as well. Germany had a time when they were not qualifying for anything, none of the clubs were winning anything, and they ripped it up and they started again. So it just depends who comes up with the right idea, but that is a good idea that Bobby's saying. If you're playing through all your academies and you're 4-3-3 and you're playing in position, I mean, it can only help you. You know, at the end, we tried it once at Partick Thistle. I played it in the wing for a year, and it never worked.
Did you just leave the goals wide open? Listen, it's a big week for
Ajax and Feyenoord have both got feeder teams in the lower divisions in Holland.
Excelsior is one that's for Feyenoord. Can't think of Ajax. There's a few of them, but that's if you don't play, they obviously they are loaned somewhere else.
Yes.
But on the same level. So you don't go to the first division. That sometimes can happen. You stay in the Eredivisie. So in Excelsior, after 3 games, I think they were top. but that's a nice big club. You know what I mean? And just the whole setup in Holland is this infrastructure is so different. I've been here, I said, 18 years, and it's hard to make changes because everybody needs to say in the right direction, same direction, but that doesn't happen.
Was it not the Dutch that started? I'm sure they all do it now, but was it not the Dutch that started? If there was somebody that was really good, that was 16-year age, he played in the under-18s.
Yeah,
so they didn't hesitate because you were under 16 and you were good.
Up the level.
They just upped you.
Yeah, so
your growth.
But that's absolutely it. I mean, like, you are surrounded with so many clubs. So as a 15-year-old, we're playing against sometimes 18-year-old, right? Or playing 16, we play against first-team players, right? It's against physical. It's competition, right? Strength to build up as amateur team. So it's not so much about the football, but see how you can develop, how you handle it.
Yeah.
Right. Basically, kind of man up. Well, gotta watch what I'm saying now.
I take your point, because that's what we should be doing, and that's what we're starting to go back to here.
There's different ways of challenging them, right? Not just in terms of the football quality, but also the physicality. Do you know what I mean? It goes there. Listen, he's a good player, but needs to toughen up a bit. Though we send him over there. It's a tough league, but I want to see how he handles it and what his attitude is. And I think a lot of the time they test you. You're trying to figure out as a player why did you do that? I mean, Evra has got a good story about Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
You know, playing a very, very good game, half time comes in, thinks that, and gives him a bollocking. And it was like, what, me? And then afterwards, after the game, knocks on the door, and he's like, am I right? I said, nah. yesterday what happened? He says he gave me a ball. He said, "Oh, you were the best player." Blah, blah, blah. So the message was that if you can do that against the best player on the team, have actions, and then you know what I mean. And he takes that.
Yeah.
So you cannot sleep. You have to stay with that.
Yeah. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson, psychologically, as you say,
and that's the thing. They do it to test you.
Yeah.
Can you handle it? Can you cope with it? So the attitude and mental strength.
This is a big week for Rangers. Ajax, Aberdeen and then Napoli. That's the next 3 games, so it's massive for them, and fingers crossed to get a positive result. Thanks to so many people who are talking about obviously how they think Rangers will do tonight, and reflecting on, of course, what happened between Celtic and Real Madrid last night. Just a wonderful occasion, great game, and hopefully Kerry will witness something similar tonight. Great occasion, great to see Celtic and Rangers in the Champions League. Don't forget, if you want to stay up to date with all the breaking football stories, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, as so many of you in your thousands are doing and enjoying our content. And you can download the app and you can watch the programme live on your phone, and you get all the breaking football stories as well. From Rangers and Celtic to Hearts against Istanbul, they've got Robert Snodgrass in there. He had about 4 or 5 offers, maybe even 6 in Scotland, and he decided, I'll have a year at Hearts and see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good signing. Listen, he's had a great career, Scottish international, played for big clubs in England. He's 35 now. The thing I would worry about is he's obviously still been training, but when you're training yourself rather than training with a team, it's different. So is he ready to play now? Or is he going to take 2-3 weeks of full-time training every day to get up to speed? So that's going to be the thing for him, but his quality is not in doubt. He's a very, very talented footballer. He can play in a number of positions. He likes to play on the right, cut in on his left. Hearts are going to have a lot of games. They've got a very, very busy fixture list, so I think he's going to come in and I think he's going to improve them, and if he's fit, if he's ready to go, then I think he'll be a very good signing. Yeah,
our reporter Adam Biddy is out there at Tynecastle ahead of that crucial Europa Conference League match, Hearts against Istanbul.
Thanks, Peter. I'm outside of Tynecastle Park ahead of Heart of Midlothian's crucial UEFA Europa Conference League tie with Istanbul Basaksehir. It's the first time that Hearts have competed in the group stages of a UEFA competition since the 2004-2005 season. One man that was playing the last time that they were in the group stages of a UEFA competition was manager Robbie Neilson. He's been sharing his wisdom with his players, but insists they will not be fazed by the occasion.
There's experienced big games already. Honestly, you just need to prepare them for it. So, they've had that experience already with the Zurich game, and then they've had it at different clubs as well. So, I think they're just looking forward to get started.
We also spoke to wing-back Alex Cochran, who was telling us just how important a part the Hearts fans have to play tomorrow night.
Yeah, massive. You saw against Zurich, the place is rocking. If we can deliver a good performance and they'll be behind us, we got a lot of chance of getting a positive result.
Don't forget, Jambos, it's an early kick-off of 5:45 p.m. tomorrow night. If you'd like to stay up to date with everything going on in the match, I'll be there. You can follow us on our Twitter thread, Facebook story and Instagram story to hear all of the latest from Tynecastle Park tomorrow night. That's all from me here. Back to you in the studio, Peter.
Yeah, well done to Adam. He's always on the ball as well. We've got them all over the place now, Ruffy. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. I was wondering if he'll be going to Turkey as well. Everybody's all over the place.
Yeah. Well, you're on about. You're going. I was going to send you to Madrid, but unfortunately, Bobby says it's a waste of time. I mean, you wouldn't enjoy it, Bobby. Madrid, me, Ruffy, you. I mean, what could we possibly get up to in a city like that?
That's something.
Stay in your hotel room all night.
Yeah, absolutely. Three straws and 1 pint of lager, to be honest with you. Anyway, apart from anything else, Hearts against Istanbul. I mean, the Jambos disappointed not to make the Europa League, but they've just got to get on with what they're doing now. See if they can get a positive campaign.
Yeah, listen, they're there, and that's the main thing. Obviously, I think they'll be disappointed against Zurich. I think it was there for them to win at the home game, and the sending off killed them. So I think they're in against a couple of very, very decent teams. And at home, I think it's our best opportunity to get a result. So I think they can get a result at home. I think it'll be far harder over there, but I think they can get a win at home against Istanbul. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that feeling as well. Good win to
So
start.
yeah, I think the crowd will generate another European night that they'll remember for a long, long time, and it'd be great if they could start with a win.
Yeah. Did you like playing at Tynecastle, Bobby?
I'm just thinking about it. No, not really.
No.
But I like the fact that it's close, right? To the
Yes.
boys. And I quite like it. And it feels like this crowd is on top of you, and I even though I say not, but it's enjoyable because.
Did you have a good record there? Yeah. Yeah. Don't worry about being arrogant. These two are on the programme.
No.
Ruffy had a good record.
Ruffy had a great record. 16 games, no wins. That's not good, is it?
What's the goalie doing?
You know you're only as good as the four in front.
I know. I knew you weren't going to take any flack. The other thing I love about this programme as well is, as you know, Tam, if there's anything that's a flaw, they're on it. And John has said, just watching Adam there has reminded me to draw the curtains. I mean, they're savage. I mean, our viewers...
He's no rocking him at 71-year-old.
Yeah, if you wear bad gear, if you put shorts on, our viewers are absolutely on it. They cane you the minute you come into the studio, which is brilliant. We like that. Anyway, apart from anything else, good to hear from Adam there. Fingers crossed. Do you feel they can get a good result against Istanbul?
Yeah, no, I think they can. I think again, it's at home. The crowd's there. You want to be in the big stage, in Europe. So, yeah, support your team. Be the 12th man there too, and support them. Yes, it's you have to be. It's a home game. Even if you go away there, it's going to be rowdy. So don't make it just. Make it horrible for them. You know what I mean? Make sure you're right behind the players, support them, and hopefully try to intimidate the other team.
Yeah, absolutely. Fingers crossed they do get it. Bobby Petta is with us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We talk football, especially European nights. We love talking about football, and of course, it is brutal at times, Ruffy. If you lose to Dynamo Zagreb, you don't have a really good start to the season. You get the sack at Chelsea. Chelsea are more ruthless than Hibs. I mean, I'm looking at this is his stats. This is Thomas Tuchel's stats. This is a guy who won the Champions League, and there you have it: 99 games, 62 wins, 19 draws, 18 defeats, 3 trophies, and you get the Dan Mac. He's sacked. He's gone.
Yeah, I think the quiz question for tonight is how much have Chelsea paid managers out and sacked them? How much money have they shelled, to all the managers? And it is incredible. It just shows you how much money they have and the backers, and they want success. They don't want to be second to anybody. They want to be winners, but the CV this guy's got, it'll be interesting to see who the next guy is to go for.
Well, even with Abramovich going out, Bobby, suddenly it's Ted Boley who's the new owner, and he's not suffering fools gladly. It's quite simply, if he thinks there's a wee bit of unrest, boom, he's out.
Well, that's why they're businessmen, aren't they? They're ruthless, you know what I mean? It's money, it's result. You pay for results. And then especially a club like that, you have to. Yeah, you've done really well. But I think there was 3 things there that was lingering, and you can see here. I think with the previous game, then it wasn't really impressed, and then obviously in Europe, and then there's a bit of negativity because he normally doesn't really criticize the players, but obviously he criticized himself and the players. But there's something that's been going on for. I don't think he's surprised, but because it got paid off.
Yeah, well, listen, the good thing about it is if you get paid off twice, if you fail twice in the English Premier League, Ruffy, that's you set for life.
It's interesting, Brendan saying that was one of his favourite teams.
Honestly, I'd written down here, I kid you not, Ruffy, I'd written down the people who are favourites for this job, right? Now, obviously, Graham Potter seems to be the early front runner. They're going to interview him. He's doing a good job at Brighton. The only thing I would say, Tam, is I said it yesterday, and I might end up with egg in my face. I'm not sure do the Chelsea fans embrace a Graham Potter, or do they think they're a higher calibre of manager? Because Pochettino's 11-8, Brendan Rodgers is 5-1, Zidane's 14-1, and as soon as I'd written down Brendan Rodgers, I thought about Ruffy, and I was just waiting on Brendan. Can you imagine he's unveiled at the press conference and he goes, It's good to be home.
He grew up watching Chelsea and always admired them. But I honestly think that Potter is, I think, the top manager. But there's a difference between punching above your weight with Brighton, you know, and keeping them up and punching above your weight, then going to Chelsea and then you've got to win things.
Yeah, but what about
same as a player?
What about the player? What about the way his team play?
Is he going to get the time to implement that? You know,
exactly.
He's been at Brighton for years. You know, then they play a great style of football. Is he going to get a year, 2 years to go and implement that and get the right players in, or is he going to, you know?
I agree. It's a
He's
big,
not going to get time.
It's a big step. I'm not saying he's not capable of doing, but as a big, you know, it's a big managers.
It's a big jump from Brighton.
Big managers, you know, they'll be successful.
Yeah.
They've won trophies. So,
do you agree with me then? It's a Chelsea looking and saying, if we're getting a manager, it has to be a Pochettino, you know, a Zidane or whatever.
Don't disrespect to him, but yes, it's from Brighton. I mean, it's a big step. I'm sure he can, you know, he's capable to do a job. How long for is the next question? But I think the fans will want to see. No, we're a big club. We had good hitting. You know, me had Mourinho, and name of the
Conte,
and Conte, right? And so they'll look. I'm not saying he's not a winner, but they're winning to play football. The highest on the biggest stage, and that comes with pressure.
Yeah,
and it's a different type of pressure, as someone said as well. As a player, and you know, are you ready for it? Look, if they like him, and good luck. But I think that they're going for Pochettino. That's you know, number one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I just think sometimes people that should be getting that big chance, Ruffy, are overlooked because, as Bobby and Tam have alluded to, you know, they look and they say to themselves, "No, we're not taking the Brighton manager."
No, because I think the guys have touched on it. I think when you get to Chelsea and you get to Man City and you get to the Man Uniteds and that, they want a manager who's done it. Yeah. And he's done it. He's won Champions League 3 or 4 times. He's won the Europa Cup. He's won leagues here. He's won leagues there. He's won leagues there. And that's the kind of calibre that their fans expect him to go for.
Yeah. Can I just ask you, just before we finish, obviously it's great to have you in, Bobby, and good to chat on your experience, obviously, you know, from the Ajax, playing in that stadium, scoring for Celtic. You played Feyenoord. Great to talk about football ethos. Are you a nostalgic person? Have you kept a number of your strips? Ruffy sold off a wad of his. Tam's got his framed in a brilliant, is it a man cave or is it a room? Yeah, Tam's got them. What about yourself? Because you played in some special games. Have you kept?
Yeah, I kept most of shirts. I've kept them, and even though people like certain shirts for it, I said no, they're not for.
Did you ever swap, Bobby, in the European games? Did you swap with other players?
Yeah. I swapped other players, and I remember going to the Juventus dressing room after we lost 3-2. I was meeting up with Edgar and he said, "No, come to the dressing room." Like, I'm okay. No, come in. Come into the dressing room and just not speak fluent freaking Italian, you know. But I'm just you know, accept it.
Tell me you get Nedved. Tell me you get Nedved's top.
Takanardi. I got Takanardi.
Takanardi.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
He's good, and he also was the black strip.
Yeah. Well. Oh, it was a cracking strip. It was a belter. Have you got that framed?
No, I'm gonna frame. Everything's in a sports bag.
Honestly, you're doing my head in.
I've been traveling, moving about, man. I'm like a nomad, right? So until I'm settled, then I'm like, right, I'm going to frame it.
Yeah.
When the time is right.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you've got some fantastic things, and I've just looked. We have one of these counters on the programme, you know, for people who can try and beat Ruffy's record of name dropping. Boy, you were close tonight, by the way. Ten Hag. Patrick, I knew him well. Yeah. You know, you've name dropped that many people. It was unbelievable, Tam, wasn't it? He just fired them, and they were flowing off his tongue as if.
We said signs for Ruffy, talking about Suey.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a name dropper, but you've been up there tonight.
I'm not often on this kind of stage shows, but people need to know. I'm like, I play with all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm quite humble, Bob. When opportunity comes, I said, no, I know them. No, Fred, I believe he's my roommate.
Yeah, well, Bobby, the good thing is, that's why you're over that end of the couch.
I'm moving over here.
Because this end is humility. You two deserve to be over there. Listen, it was an absolute joy chatting to you. Different class. Bobby Petta there with Ruffy and Tam, and of course, if you can, hit the subscribe button. Join us with the rest of our football family. There's lots of content. We'll definitely see Bobby on this programme again, and maybe we'll get him to pick it. Hey, we've got to get him to pick his dream team. We've got to get you to. What a dream team! By the way, I might as well tell you, I'm not going to be two-faced about it. We've done Sutton and Larson's dream team.
I'm not in it.
You're not in it. No, you're not even. But I can't wait to see your dream team. What a team.
He would be my dream team for a night out in Glasgow.
You couldn't have
15, 20 years ago, I used to see Bobby all the time.
Can I just say something to you? There's one Dutchman who beats Bobby hands down. Every opening of every pub in Glasgow, Ruffy, I was ever in, I used to walk in and the place was, just starting to get busy. And there was Reggie Blinker. There's the stinker. There you are. That's it. Reggie Blinker. And Reggie just used to look at me.
He doesn't like it, you know that?
Yeah.
He doesn't like it.
What?
When after the joke, he doesn't like it when I told him, I said, by the way, you're having him every night, man. You're having a stinker? You're having a Reggie Blinker? What do you mean? Everybody's having a stinker. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had my fair share in the first years. On my chin, no problem. But he's kind of like, well, I don't like it. I mean, I call him what I am. I'll show you a picture of him too, next to.
Well, you'll never believe it. By the way, we were in lockdown and we got Reggie on the show from the Netherlands. It was brilliant, Ruffy, wasn't it?
Brilliant,
it was great for him. So absolutely.
He used to wear transparent.
No, he didn't. But I'll try and get him to say it anyway. Bobby. Great to have you on the programme, different class, to Ruffy and to Tammy Manus. Thanks for being on today. Join us tomorrow if you can. Hopefully, we're talking about a positive result for Rangers in the Champions League, and we'll look more in detail about Hearts against Istanbul. Thanks for watching.